Okay, the next match was Larry Zbyszko versus Bruno Sammartino, otherwise known as QT Marshall against Cody with Arn Anderson. The only thing they borrowed out of this was the angle. Because I don't know what... QT Marshall came out with all of his students and then sent them to the back. Comoroto and Solo and a Go-Go. And my God, that sounds like a voodoo chant. Comoroto, Solo, a Go-Go. Comoroto, Solo, a Go-Go, a poof. Anyway, so the heel comes out alone. Cody, the babyface, comes out with Arn in his corner. And guess what? It's a jump start. That makes 2 for 2. I wonder if there'll be an afterbirth. Cody does 2 moves, takes his belt, weightlifting belt off, like he's going to fucking whip QT with it. Referee takes it away. They argue for a while, and then QT gets a weightlifting belt and whips Cody right in front of the referee, and there's no penalty. And then started some heat on him, and they go back and forth. They kept the pace up. It wasn't stupid. They weren't doing dives all over the place or cartwheels or whatever the fuck. But for the break spot, QT's out on the floor. He shoves Arn, and Arn just punches him, and they get in a fight. And the referees just run out. They don't disqualify Cody. They just run out and pull Arn off of him. That's a disqualification right there. You're done. But they just use it to go to the break. When they come back from the break on the other side, he's getting heat on Cody. And Cody made a comeback, except for the ridiculousness of having the manager actually punch the fucking guy right in front of the referee. This probably resembled a wrestling match more than most things you're going to see on this program. It wasn't a Cody classic, but it wasn't bad. But then all of a sudden they reversed a tombstone piledriver 4 times. And then Cody tombstone QT Marshall 1-2 kickout. So now tombstone piledriver's a kickout. And then Cody hits his crossroads, and it's a 2 count. I think that Cody thinks he's elevating guys that are not at his level by hitting his moves, and they kick out of them.
His level.
Well, let's face it. Whatever his level is, QT is not there. I'm not talking about, his fucking credit score on Scoremaster. I'm talking about whatever level that Cody is at as a wrestler. QT has not been pushed at anywhere near that level, nor had that much exposure, etc. So Cody's trying to get him over, bring him up. But all he does, because he does this with everybody he's in the ring with, it just shows that Cody can hit all of his stuff and not beat anybody the first time with it. Because it hadn't been working. He started working. All these guys started working like they were over to begin with. Anyway, somehow, after a tombstone for a 2 count and a crossroads for a 2 count, Cody put the figure 4 on QT and hard-weighed himself and busted his own eye open in the process. And I slow-moed it and tried to figure, and the only thing I can figure out is that when Cody went down and crossed that last leg, he somehow face-butted either QT's knee or boot and busted his own eye open. But there's no other way to explain it. It wasn't, obviously it wasn't intentional. And he just stepped into the figure 4 and sat back, and his eye was bleeding. So he dinged himself some way. And of course, QT taps out. And then here comes a go-go. Camarato, solo a go-go. And he just conjured up out of thin air, and he gut-shotted Cody and put him down and buried him under the Union Jack flag, which, of course, was as much of an embarrassment as it was when they buried Cowboy Bill Watts under the Russian flag in Tulsa. Except it wasn't. Because are we still at war with the British?
I guess. I was surprised to see the British flag placed over Cody.
It's like putting a Canadian flag over somebody. Are they mad at anybody? No. They go back and they look at things that have been done and they go, oh, we'll do that. They don't understand that the burial under the Russian flag of the patriotic American worked because then Watts could quote Khrushchev when Khrushchev said to Kennedy, "We will bury you." And then he was buried under the Russian flag, the communist menace or whatever. Nice. Fuck. I guess this means that the fucking people at Nando's are going to have a ton of heat with fucking Cody after this. Those fucking British. What the...
And they announced next week Cody will have a big announcement. I'm going to guess the big announcement is interrupted within 30 seconds by someone coming to the ring.
Hopefully everything else they're going to have next week is interrupted within 30 seconds, because I heard them rattle off some of that shit. But Jane, we get a live interview with Jane next week. Could be Trainwreck Central again. All right.
It's just the whole QT Cody thing. Whatever they were going to do, they did this angle. Cody is laid out. Red Velvet sacrifices herself to save not her man. And then for a few weeks, they start establishing QT's crew. Go-Go or Ogogo is knocking out people with his gut shot. And now they have the match and Cody wins. Is that it? I mean, is the Cody QT thing over now?
Well, yeah, now he's mad at Ogogo because Ogogo gave him the gut shot. But also, by the way, QT was the trainer, the hand-picked trainer at Cody's Nightmare Factory Wrestling School. Has he won a match yet?
Probably in tag teams with Dustin, they won a match or two, I would think.
I'm talking about, has he gone out there and won a match that, and somebody's going to say YouTube? Well, fuck that. I'm talking about that anybody sees.
Hey, you know what I heard? I think it was last week on the show. Whatever it was, maybe they were going to a break. Tony Schiavone, I think, said QT Marshall, not Marshall.
Well, that's the way you say it.
That's the way you say it. That's the way we've always said it.
That's the way he told me to say it in 2011.
They never say it like that on the show.
That's because don't expect these geniuses to think about details like how to pronounce a guy's name.
But again, this goes to the whole idea of just everything with Cody. What are they doing with Cody?
I mean, it stops, it starts, it goes this way, it goes that way. I don't know why it goes. I don't know what was going on here. It wasn't a bad wrestling match, but just none of this stuff makes any sense, or it's not followed up on, or it's not. I don't. Do you understand what kind of booking of the year that you're seeing from this program, where things are just stopped and started and dropped and brought back, and people are baby faces and heels and mad at each other but happy with each other, and the heels save the baby faces from beatings by the other heels, and whatever the fuck, jump starts, afterbirths. It's a mess.
No, the show is a badly put together show, and I got some heat when I said this a few months ago, and then all of a sudden everyone started agreeing it's badly booked, it's badly formatted, it's badly put together. That doesn't mean Tony Khan isn't good as, for the AEW fans, a matchmaker who, whenever they do a pay-per-view, gets a large transactional audience to see the matches. My argument's been the week-to-week buildup of those matches has not built up any match. It hurts the matches. It's bad angles. It's bad afterbursts to each matches. Every promo's interrupted by someone. It's the same thing over and over again. So I think the AEW fans really want to see those matches, those big matches, but the week-to-week booking doesn't do anything. It's bad.
So what you're saying is the AEW fans would eat the Elmer's glue and thank you for the ice cream.
I didn't say that. I've never heard that expression before either. So
I've said that before.
I'm wrapping my head around that one.
They would eat the Elmer's glue and thank you for the ice cream.